Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here for today on the show. I mean, what can I say? We're having the best way to start up an epic weekend because she's here, the incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the one and only, the legendary Emilia. Emilia, how are you today?
I'm very good. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. So I was saying before, what better way to start up a fantastic weekend and to finish up the week strong than to be chatting with someone as badass as you. You know what I mean?
Yes, it sounds great. I can't wait for our little conversation here.
Sounds like a plan to me. Now, if you're new to the channel, well, you know the drill. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow. It helps a lot. But also in the description below, you're going to find all of Emilia's social media. Let's follow her. Let's share some love. And let's find out why she's super badass. And without further more, let's jump in. So, I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the very first question, which is, when you first stepped into acting, tell me, what did you think that it would give you and what has it given you?
Wow. I mean, I think the answer to that, both of those questions is the same. All I wanted acting to give me was one, a sense of purpose and fulfillment and happiness. And that's absolutely what it's given me in my life. I feel like I started in acting later than most people. I mean, I was in high school, I was doing theater, and so I'm a theater kid, through and through. But a lot of people start there, especially in Los Angeles, they're child actors and then they move up. And, some of these 17, 18-year-olds have been acting for 10 years already. And so me starting at around 17, there was always an idea of, that I was going to be a little bit behind everybody. But thankfully, I had parents in the industry. My parents were opera singers growing up, so I was around theater and art all the time. So it came at, like second nature to me. And as soon as I stepped on stage for the first time, I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so it's absolutely fulfilled me as a person, as an artist, as, everything. It is my main source of happiness, and I feel so grateful that I'm able to do what I love as a career.
There you go. Pretty badass. Now, as you know, time passed, you decided to make this as a career. So tell me, what were some of those first kind of challenges that you encounter as you were making those first baby steps, let's say?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people either go two routes, they graduate from high school and they immediately start acting, or they go to school, like acting school. And I decided I wanted a degree. So I think the first big challenge was really the audition process for acting schools is so grueling, and it's in your senior year of high school when you're already so busy worrying about everything else. It's a really stressful process, especially for like a 17, 18-year-old. After getting through that, I started at Point Park University at the acting program. I did that for a year and decided that the program wasn't for me. There's nothing bad about that program. It just wasn't for me. So I dropped out and I moved to New York City, just saying, okay, well, maybe I don't need a degree. Maybe maybe I don't need all of that extra stuff. I quickly realized that I'm like very type A, and so I love a schedule. And I wanted to go back to school and I wanted to complete my degree. So I ended up doing that at NYU, which I am extremely grateful for, but it was very rigorous and really exhausting. But it taught me so much about not only acting in the theater, Shakespeare, whatever it may be, but acting for TV and film and just being a well-rounded actor. After that, I guess the main once you graduate, it's kind of like, okay, now you got to go and do this now. And it was right at the break of COVID, or I guess the peak of COVID is when I graduated from NYU, which is very unfortunate. So I didn't start working in the industry until probably October of that year. And in New York, so I ended up living in New York for 10 years, going to school, and then I stayed. And in New York, you get a really good mixture of theater, of film and TV actors and all that stuff, and finding a representation that can do it all is very tricky, but also finding representation in general can be very difficult. So that was another hurdle. I ended up signing and booking a principal role on Law and Order Organized Crime, which was amazing as like a how old was I? 21-year-old. And I'm like, I have fulfilled like every New York actor's dream of being on Law and Order. It's such a classic series that have been going on for so long. But finding that balance of okay, well, I'm working and yes, that's good. That money is going to last me for this long, but then I'm going to go back to my auditioning and not getting paid to audition. And do I have a side job? Do I do this? Do I do that? That's really the heart, I think the hardest part of this career is saying to yourself, okay, do I need, like, am I not working enough? And if I'm not working enough, I need money. And so, do I take time away from my career that I could be spending doing auditions and taking classes and doing whatnot and have to go get a second job? So, that I think is, and a lot of actors will say this, that is one of the hardest parts about this industry is finding that balance. I think a lot of careers are about balance, but especially acting and anything in the arts, it's really, you have to find that perfect level of like, yes, this is extremely important to me. I want to be an actor for the rest of my life, but like I need to pay my bills. And if this isn't super financially fulfilling right now, maybe I have to take a step back. Maybe I have to, give 3 days to a waitressing job or, whatever it may be.
Okay. Okay. And at this point, what do you think that is one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about actors, in general?
Well, I think now with how the industry has changed regarding verticals and vertical dramas and non-union actors working over the last 5 years, these verticals have kind of blown up and allowed non-union actors to work consistently and not have to have these kind of side jobs. So going back to that, I think there's a huge misconception that every actor in LA, every actor in New York is a waiter. It works at a coffee shop, like has all these other jobs, and they're like a struggling artist. Of course, we're always pushing to do better and bigger things and writing that really fulfills us. But I do think there is a misconception that we're all just like broke, like, waiting for our big break. And thankfully, over the last 5 years, with the addition of these vertical dramas, that's not the reality for a lot of us. We can completely support ourselves working on set, making connections, and do is still doing auditions for bigger things and bigger jobs. But a lot of us don't have to have like little side jobs, which is great. Any chance I get to be on set is a good day.
Okay. I'll take it for sure. That's pretty cool. Now, do you think the pursuit of recognition changes an actor's relationship with their craft?
It's hard. You know, there are a lot of people that their main goal, they get into acting because they want to be famous, because they want the glamour and the parties and the this and the that comes along and the money that comes along with being famous. So you do come across those people, absolutely. They're not acting because they love acting. They are acting because they want to go to the Oscars, you know? It's unfortunate, but sometimes those people do make it. I mean, and anybody making it is a win, but I really value the people that act because this is what we feel like we were put on this earth to do. And we get to become new people every chance we get and really like dive into scripts. And then once we get something on TV or on stage, we give people an escape from their reality for 2 hours in theater or even 45 minutes for a TV show. So I think there are people, that, and I'm one of them, that my goal as an actor is to work consistently in the entertainment industry and be able to support myself and fulfill myself as an artist, where there are people that are just actors to become famous.
Mhm.
That is absolutely happening for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's part of the yeah, I mean it's the way it is, right? I mean there's people who are doing it for the wrong reasons and that's just the way it is, right? I mean you can't change it, but
Right.
yeah, just the way it is. I mean
Yeah.
it's a shame sometimes that it's people like that who will get more attention than the people who is actually putting on the work and working
Right.
more on their craft and all of that, but
Right.
but it's just part of the whole thing. Yeah.
That's show business, baby. Like, you don't you don't get to pick and choose and say, oh, well, that person got all the training and all the this and all the that, and they want to do this because they love the art. I'm gonna cast them. That doesn't happen. It's like
Yeah.
that nobody's going to decide to cast somebody because they worked harder or because they love their craft more. They cast for all different reasons, and I don't think that really has anything to do with it.
Yeah.
The love of the art most of the time does not have anything to do with it.
It's just the way it is it's the money. So,
That's why they call it show business, because it's a business first. And I completely agree with you. Over the last couple of years, seeing influencers being cast in TV shows and movies, and not to say that they can't learn how to act or they can't act or they're not doing a good job. But I know behind the scenes, a lot of these influencers and athletes are just kind of getting handed these roles and taking them away from somebody that is going to crush that part and make it more believable, and somebody who has studied and trained their whole life to do this craft. I feel like people think that acting is something that you can just be thrown into and be good at from the jump. And that is not the case. This takes a ton of training and a ton of emotional training too to be able to do this. So having these influencers being like, "Oh yeah, well I can act, I can do this." And I'm like, "Can you though?" And sometimes it works out for the best. I know Addison Rae was in a new TV show, and I've heard really great things about her performance. And so good for her. That's amazing that she's kind of falling into this and learning how to act. And yeah, I heard in interviews that she's great to work with on set and all of these things. So that might not be the best example, but there are many, many other examples of influencers and athletes where you're like, that performance was iffy. And you only got that part because of who you are outside of the acting industry, because you're going to bring people in for more views so that the company can make more money.
yeah, I think one example that we can mention is the Haktua girl.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, I did see that.
Um,
And what's crazy is I saw a video, it was a TikTok about the girl. I don't know what TV show it was. So correct me if I'm wrong, but this girl that posted this TikTok, she had a whole viewing party. She got cast in this TV show. She was in this like club scene, and no shit. They get to the part where she's supposed to be on screen, there's her, and it's the Hawk Tuah girl instead. And they had reshot it, that whole scene, all of that her coverage with the Hawk Tuah girl. And so all of her friends, she has a viewing party and everything. All of her friends are sitting there waiting for her to be on screen. And then the Hawk Tuah girl pops up and she didn't even know that was going to happen. Oh, I would have cried for hours. I would not been able to get over that. One, that's bad on the company to do that and not at least say something to the actor and say, "Hey, sorry, but this happened." But also just really bad practice to do that in general, because we know that that actress who filmed it originally probably did a hell of a lot better job than the Hawk to a girl who went famous for saying choice things online.
yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, actually the series it's called Chat Powers and it's on Hulu and the starring is starring Glenn Powell.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
hmm Yeah. I remember when I saw that video the first time I was like, are you kidding me now? So it's people like that who get like the spotlight, who gets the attention, who gets everything. And there's
Yep.
people who actually put the work on it. They take classes to learn some editing. They are working overnight every single night to kind of make it, to kind of get better on what they do. And then suddenly this girl comes and makes some funny video, drunk, saying some nonsense, and then boom, suddenly we will see her on podcasts, actor now. It's things
Yeah.
like that pisses me off, and it makes me wonder, like, are we really get as a society, are we really getting into a point that we become that stupid that we allow people like that? Like what's the point here? And I think like another misconception with acting would be as well that some people might think that acting is just learning your lines and you're good to go. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. Forget about prepare about the character or do your research on it. Nah, just learn your lines, good to go. And I think with that misconception, it causes to people to be like everybody can act. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is genuinely a craft behind acting and getting to the point where you find your instincts in scenes to where, sometimes you read a scene, you're like, that's exactly how it should be played. Of course, you should be open to critiquing, but it takes a long time to be able to get to that point where your initial instinct is correct. And I mean, there's so much training behind it and emotional vulnerability. I mean, I just got off a shoot. It was 8 days or 9 days of my character getting abused, like choked up against a wall, thrown to the ground, dunked in a pool, slapped across the face, like all of this stuff, like really horrible stuff. And that affected me for the whole week. Like I would come home and just be a shell of a person. So people don't realize how much training goes into it, yes, but also how it can bleed into your everyday life and how much emotional kind of turmoil we go through on the daily basis to play these characters that people are going to sit there and watch on their phone or on a screen. It's acting is not something you may have good, like kind of beginner's luck instincts where you're like, okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see how this would work in this scene. But the what separates the kind of mediocre actors from the great actors are the people that really value the training and the people that have come before them. I was just in the building in LA, in Hollywood, where they filmed the very first, or they held the very first Emmys. And this is gonna sound so cheesy, but I just moved to Los Angeles last year, and I walk in there and it's like all these like old time Hollywood actors, all their portraits and all of these people. If those walls could talk, I'm sure they've seen some crazy stuff. Um, but it's kind of emotional for me that all of these people that have come before me have walked through the same building and worked and acted and written scripts and all of this stuff. There's really just like an art to what we do. And you're absolutely right. People jump into the industry thinking, I can make it big and I'm going to be famous. Let me just like do it. There's no just do it. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes as an actor, like people don't realize.
Now, have you found that playing characters sometimes can reveal truths about yourself that maybe at that point, for some reason, you didn't want to face?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, going back to, how much training goes into acting and becoming a good actor and how much continual training you have to do. It's not just like, okay, let me do my training and then I'm good. It's like you're always learning. I studied, like I said, at NYU. I was in the Atlantic Theater Company portion of NYU. And so we studied using something called practical aesthetics, which is an acting technique where you literally connect what's happening in the scene to something that's happening in your life. And you like using the same emotion. And so you pretty much just like figure out, what you want from your scene partner and how you're going to get it and what you want to happen by the end of this scene or the end of this conversation. And then you put a descriptive word to it. And then find something in your everyday life that you use the same feeling towards and use that in the scene. So it's not method acting. If they're not like, hey, you have to be drunk in this scene, go get drunk. It's definitely like an emotional thing. But yeah, so I find myself using that a lot and using the things that are happening or have happened in my life in my work. I would say there's not a ton of times yet where I'm like, ooh, that made me realize something about myself. Like, wow, I kind of relate to that, especially with the influx of these vertical dramas that we do, where they're very over the top and very soap opera-y, and the characters are like explosion, of character. But when I do use the acting technique that I was taught, it definitely becomes very real very quickly. And that's my suggestion too. I mean, look into the acting technique for any of you out there that want to get into acting. Look into that acting technique. It was created by William H. Macy and David Mamet, who's a playwright. And it really works. It really does. And it also helps with the emotion. And if you're like, I'm stuck, I need to cry in this scene and I can't cry. It's like once you connect the scene and your character and everything that's going on to something that has happened or something that's going on in your everyday life, those emotions just come and then it becomes real and it looks real to an audience.
I started to discover why you're badass. You're giving me these vibes. I'm like, I'm getting it. Why she's badass. Just saying.
Thank you.
Just saying. Now, how do you protect your own identity when you're constantly slipping into the lives of others?
Yeah, wow, what a great question. I like to try my hardest to get on to when I step on set, whatever character I'm playing, that is what I embody. But I do give myself breaks. I sit down at lunch and I'm talking to the crew and my other cast members and stuff like that. And I want to be myself. I can't go too deep into myself because I don't want myself to then become the character. I need the character to be the character, right? But when it comes to leaving set at the end of the day, I like to leave everything that had happened and every emotion I felt and that whole character, I like to leave on set. That is that. This is me, you know? Easier said than done, especially like I said, the content that I've been filming the last couple of weeks. You drive home in silence and you're like, what just happened? Like, I just got abused for 13 hours on set. Like, I'm a shell of a human being. Bringing yourself home and doing things that you love, even if that's as easy as like, playing with your dog or sitting on the couch having a glass of wine and watching a TV show or a movie. Anything that can help you kind of strip out of those more difficult roles, I think is really important because if you don't, you're going to start to bring all of that stuff home and all those emotions home, and then you're going to end up depressed. You're going to end up depressed and with all of the feelings of this character of like, wow, I just got abused for 9 days straight. That doesn't feel good. And I'm living in it right now. Like you're that character will slowly become your real life, those feelings and those emotions. So you really need something to snap you back to reality to say, that's that, and this is me. And I'm done with work. I'm done with work over here. Now this is me.
Now, what do you, now, yeah, like what song would you say that could describe a little bit about your career and a little bit about your personality as well? Like that's 50-50.
This is gonna sound so stupid. Not the content of the song, but the title. Hello by Adele. My career in that sense, it's I'm always open to more and to learning and to new beginnings. And so kind of like that's how you start a conversation or you start a new part of your life. It's kind of like you're saying hello to it. And then in my life, I try to live my life the same way, being open to new connections with other people. I love meeting people. I love talking to people, as you can probably tell. I am a certified yapper. So, saying hello, that's like my personality. I love getting to know people and experiencing new things. And so I think that's the perfect song title to mesh how I approach my career and how I live my life.
I'll take it. Sounds like a plan to me. Now, if storytelling is a mirror of humanity, what part of humanity do you hope your work reflects?
I don't want to say something as basic as like happiness because the work that I do as an actor is not all sunshine and ponies. And, but like I said earlier in our conversation, it is called the entertainment industry, getting to entertain people, even if it's hard content and it's difficult and it's hard to watch sometimes. Just knowing that people are taking the time out of their day to sit down and watch something that you created and be able to kind of escape from that. That is a form of, they're being entertained no matter the content of it. Well, hopefully they're being entertained. So, and I think entertainment is driven from happiness, you know? So I think it's a basic answer, I think, but it works in my brain.
All right. All right. Now, what do you think that is the cost of vulnerability for you? Not just in front of the camera, but in life.
Well, being vulnerable isn't easy for anyone, I don't think. It's something you have to learn how to be okay with. And they teach you, and this is why I'm always a big supporter of acting school, is because they really teach you how to be vulnerable at 8 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of other students around you. Um, and you have to be open to those things and show what's inside of you. And learning how to do that is not easy. And it's funny, connecting it to my real life, I have no problem being vulnerable in front of a camera. I don't. I will cry, I'll scream, I am not embarrassed by it, I will do anything. In my real life, I'm still learning how to be vulnerable and communicate with people and express my feelings. So I think that's funny that it's like on one hand, I'm like, yeah, in front of a camera, it's totally fine. But like if I'm like having a conversation with my boyfriend, I'm like, I don't I don't know. So it's very interesting, but vulnerability is important not only in an acting career, but also in your everyday life. You know what they say, like communication is key to everything. That is so the truth. It's a cheesy saying, but it is so the truth in your everyday life and in an acting career.
All right. Now, switching to our next section, speed round questions. Yes, no, or pass. Super simple. Gonna ask you a couple of questions in which you can only answer yes, no, or pass. You ready?
Okay. Yes.
All right. So, do you believe every role changes you?
Yes.
Have you ever turned down a role you still think about?
No.
Do you think rejection is a gift?
Yes.
Is acting more about truth than talent?
Yes. 100% yes.
Okay. Is starting small underrated?
No.
Have you ever felt more at home in a character than in your own skin?
No.
Do you believe success without pain exists?
No.
Have you ever considered leaving acting behind?
Oh, I want to elaborate on this, but I'll just say no.
Fair enough. Do you think the world still values great storytelling over quick entertainment?
I sure hope it does. I think yes.
Okay. Do you believe patience is more valuable than speed in a creative career?
Yes.
Okay. And a bonus question, can you cry on cue?
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
There you go. Perfect. Now, switching again, back to normal. If this conversation was the last time you ever spoke about your craft, what would you want to leave behind in people's hearts?
To keep trying, be open to learning, but keep trying. And if you feel like this is what you were put on this earth to do, nothing should get in your way and nothing should stop you. You can get a million no's, and all you need is one yes. That's it. And to live by, and this is what I've lived by since I was in college, is what is for you shall not pass you. So all of these roles that have given you, all these jobs that have said, no, you're too this, you're too that, you're not right, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're whatever, that wasn't for you. The universe will give you what you need. And that might take years and months, but just wait and be patient and keep training and keep fighting, and you'll get it.
I'm gonna drop the mic because you're killing it. What can I say? Drop it already. Yeah. And that's pretty cool. And my last question here, so we can all, enjoy and relax after an epic chat here. So here we go. What do
Yes.
you think
Okay.
that could be the best title for this episode?
I'm trying to come up with something punny, but I'm not great at puns. I think we should call it "What is for you shall not pass you." I think that's
There you
it.
go.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a franchise to me. Who knows?
Yeah,
You
there
know,
you
we
go.
we might be giving the next title for your bio book.
There you go. There
Who
you go.
knows?
Exactly.
And I mean, at the end, what can I say? The fact that you're doing this is amazing, but also the fact because you're doing it because you like it. I know that's super cheesy, and that phrase that do what makes you happy, like all of that. But we all know that focusing on something outside the typical 9 to 5, like out of that, it usually can be sometimes a pain in the butt because you're basically starting something from scratch. So
Yeah.
you have making it happen. You have showing results. You are working on your craft. You are showing out there that people, yeah, you're showing out there that dreams can come true. And I think
Yeah.
that type of message is super positive. And I think positivity is something that we desperately need right now in this crazy world we currently live in. You're
Yes.
showing that dreams can come true, and that is super incredible. That's badass. And now we discover why you're super badass. What can I say?
Oh, thank you so much. I've had a great time.
Absolutely. Now I do want to thank also those who stayed the whole episode. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But by this point, come on. You should know why Emilia is super badass. So let's follow her. Let's share some love. Hashtag Team Emilia. And again, thank you for making this happen. Keep shining out there. Have an incredible upcoming weekend. Keep rocking. Keep doing what you do. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Bye.
All right.